the cunning queen who outplayed a king and his lovers. A French queen, watching her husband, King Louis XV, openly take scores of mistresses. What's a good girl to do for revenge? For Marie Leszczyńska, the answer was brilliantly, and perhaps a little wickedly, strategic. She was Queen of France for over 4 decades, yet her name is barely remembered. Her story, filled with scandal, feuds, and quiet tragedies, was largely hidden behind the gilded doors of Versailles. This is the tale of how a once disgraced princess used piety and patience to wage a subtle war against her husband and his mistresses, culminating in a dramatic showdown that shocked all of France. Born in 1704, when she was just a year old, Marie's father became King of Poland in 1704, all thanks to his political friendship with the King of Sweden, who had just invaded the country. Nonetheless, for a few brief golden years, the toddler Marie was a royal princess. But in 1709, Marie and her family went through a brutal downfall. The country rebelled against her father and deposed him. When the King of Sweden offered them safe haven, they scrambled to escape Poland. She and her family were now at the mercy of other European royals for their safety, as well as their room and board. As a result, Marie spent her adolescence living on other people's estates. Marie's mother and grandmother bitterly complained about their reduced circumstances. More than that, they distanced themselves from Marie's father, who they blamed for their situation. But Marie, who had never really known the royal life, was happy enough. She had a calm disposition, but it also allowed people to walk all over her, especially later in her life. Even now, people praised her for possessing the gift of suffering in silence and having the maturity of a woman who no longer demands happiness. These qualities wouldn't lead her anywhere good, but they did get the attention of some important people, however. As she grew older, Marie was not considered a great beauty. She was described as plain and thin, and her family's poverty and political disgrace made her a huge challenge for any potential suitor. However, these qualities, which were seen as flaws, ultimately paved her way to the French throne. By 1725, King Louis XV of France was 15 years old and in urgent need of a wife. The Duke of Bourbon, who was serving on the Regency Council, made a list of 99 eligible brides. Marie was initially on this list, but was not a serious contender due to her lack of wealth and political connections. However, all other candidates fell through. In a humiliating turn of events, Marie's name was reconsidered when the council realized she was their last option. She met the bare minimum requirements. She was 22, of childbearing age, Catholic and healthy. The council decided she was the perfect choice precisely because she was poor. A lack of a dowry was a disadvantage, but it also meant she had no powerful allies who could challenge the court's power. To make her more appealing to the young king, the council commissioned a flattering portrait, making her look like a replica of Louis's beloved mother. When he saw it, he reportedly exclaimed, "She is the loveliest of them all," and was eager for the wedding. The French court, however, was furious. They gossiped that she was ugly, epileptic, and sterile. With all these whispers going around, the palace forced Marie to undergo a medical examination that would rule out epilepsy and confirm that she was able to get pregnant. The findings, of course, showed that she was neither epileptic nor sterile. Their wedding on August 15th, 1725, was bare bones. They were married by proxy, and Marie received none of the grand celebrations given to previous queens. But when they finally met, everything changed. Louis was immediately smitten. His initial attraction turned into an intense love, and he not only refused to take mistresses, but also banned anyone from speaking negatively about his queen. Marie gave birth to 10 children, including a long-awaited son and heir, Louis. For a time, their marriage was a true love story. But the fairy tale didn't last. The intense passion of their early marriage withered, and a profound coldness settled between them. Louis began listening to the court's negative remarks about Marie, comments he had once forbidden. Meanwhile, Marie, conditioned to be a demure and dutiful wife, had no political power to fight back. By 1732, the inevitable happened. Louis took an unofficial mistress, a woman so secretive she was known only as the fair unknown. Though Marie was stoic, this was a breaking point. She made her disapproval known throughout the court. Her power was in the bedroom, but that too came to an end. This opened the floodgates for Louis's public affairs. After his first mistress was unmasked as one of Marie's ladies-in-waiting, he moved on to her sisters. The situation worsened after Marie's last childbirth in 1737. The labour was so horrific that doctors insisted she stop all intimate relations. Marie, after much deliberation, barred Louis from her bedchamber. With the king's physical relationship with his wife over, his affairs became more brazen. He moved on from one mistress to another, culminating in his most disastrous relationship with Marie-Anne de Mailly, who was arrogant and conniving. In 1744, King Louis fell gravely ill. Believing he was near death, he asked his chaplain for his last rites and absolution from his sins. But Louis had a cruel change of heart when his wife, Queen Marie, travelled to his bedside, refusing to see her. This was the final straw. Marie devised a desperate plan. With the support of the chaplain, she leveraged Louis's fear of God. The priest refused to grant Louis absolution unless he repented for his sins and publicly renounced his affair. Painted into a corner and believing he was at death's door, Louis crumbled. He agreed to the terms, forcing his mistress to pack her bags and leave. His confession was made public, airing the royal couple's dirty laundry for all of France to see. It was a stunning public humiliation for the king, orchestrated by his own wife. While Marie had won the battle, she lost the war. Louis recovered and immediately returned to his old ways, taking up with his most famous mistress, Madame de Pompadour. Unlike the others, Madame de Pompadour was intelligent and politically savvy, and she quickly eclipsed Queen Marie at court, wielding a political power Marie could only have dreamed of. Marie lived out her days in quiet dignity, but her heart was broken again in 1765, when her only son and heir died of tuberculosis. She had guarded him jealously, and his death was a devastating blow. Marie died just 3 years later at the age of 65, having outlived her greatest rivals and suffered the loss of her most beloved son. Her life was a testament to the fact that while she may have lost the love of her husband, she retained her dignity and for one powerful moment found a way to win a battle with a weapon far more powerful than a crown: her faith.